Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today. Starting on the 1 hour time frame for Bitcoin, because currently Bitcoin is dumping to the downside as we are breaking down from this rising wedge pattern. Now the price target for this is roughly 82.5k, and as you can see so far we have reached about 83,000, so pretty close to reaching that price target. But besides that, more importantly, on this 2 hour time frame, we are now breaking down below this ascending trend line, and typically this tends to be a bearish signal in the short term here. However, keep in mind that on this 4 hour time frame, we are still above this descending trend line in the Bitcoin price. So the key level of support to be paying attention to right now is about 81.8k. If we break below this 81.8k level, of course, keep in mind that this does trend down over time. But if we break below this, guys, this will be a bearish signal in the short term, because, for example, if I take a look at this 1 day time frame here, yesterday I was talking about these different descending trend lines in the Bitcoin price, and basically, as far as I'm concerned, we have broken the first downtrend here on the 1 day time frame. However, that descending trend line that I showed you on the lower time frames here is also this descending trend line on the 1 day time frame. Now, if we fall below this, we are falling back into this downtrend once again, and this will just be considered a fake out on the 1 day time frame. Okay, so understand that this is a very important moment in the Bitcoin price action, and I believe that early on next week we are going to get a clear answer if this is going to be an actual breakout, retest, resumption type structure, or if we are just seeing a fake out as I'm recording this video. Another thing I want to point out is that yesterday I got a lot of bearish comments, so everyone was telling me that I was wrong for calling this a break of a downtrend. But guys, look, I know that the sentiment is extremely bearish right now, but as always, I am only here to be objective in my analysis. I am not looking at the news, I am not looking at the sentiment. The only thing I am looking at is the chart, because that is what I believe to be the truth. Now, to clarify this, I actually made a post on X today. So basically, would you be flipping bearish if you saw this break of the uptrend on the 1 day time frame? So imagine the trend is up like this and you're seeing a breakdown below this ascending trend line. Wouldn't you be flipping bearish at this point? Personally, I would be looking at this and saying, if we don't immediately reverse back to the upside, I'm going to be extremely bearish on Bitcoin here. However, the trick to this, as you can see by these volume candles here, is that this is simply the 1 day time frame flipped on its head, right? So what I'm trying to do by showing you this is basically taking out the bearish narrative and saying, like, look, if you're just looking at this objectively, what I'm seeing is a break of a trend, regardless of if the trend is up or down. Just objectively speaking, this is a break of a trend, if you ask me. Now, yes, at the moment, we are seeing a rejection from this next descending trend line, which I pointed out yesterday as well, is a level of resistance. So we should not forget about this and just ignore it or something. And for now, this level of resistance is sitting at about 84.9k. Also, this is trending down over time, but I do believe that if we break above this, the next area of resistance is already at about 87.5k, with above that this descending trend line once again. So those are the areas of resistance that I am paying attention to at the moment. Besides that, on this 1 day time frame as well, we simply have a bullish divergence in the charts here, which points towards us getting a break from this bearish price action that we saw here recently, either in the form of some choppy sideways price action or potentially some bullish momentum on this 1 day time frame. So far, we saw about a 12% move to the upside. So even if this thing now actually turns around, you cannot tell me, guys, that I have been on the wrong side of the trade here this entire time, because I caught this bullish divergence on the 1 day time frame when we were actually confirming it, similar to this exaggerated bullish divergence, which I called out as it was happening as well. So again, even if we turn around from here, we still were on the right side of the trade for a 12% move to the upside. And now it remains to be seen what is going to happen next in the short term here. like I said at the beginning of this video, we're currently breaking an uptrend, which is typically a short-term bearish thing. However, it remains to be seen if we're actually going to be falling back down below this descending trend line on the 1-day time frame. If we get a touch with this and we're closing the candle above, I'm going to be assuming that this will be some kind of breakout, retest, resumption to the upside from there. However, like I said, clear point of invalidation. If we fall back below, you will simply see me flip bearish on Bitcoin once again. It is as simple as that, okay? Moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. First of all, on this 3-day time frame, notice how right now we have just taken out a big pocket of liquidity at 83.4K. And there is still more liquidity to the downside. For example, sitting as low as 82,000 in the Bitcoin price. There's even liquidity at 80.3K, but yes, even above this 82K level, there's just a bunch of liquidity just below where we are currently trading. So it would not be shocking to see us taking out this liquidity here. The most important thing I'm paying attention to is that we are holding above this descending trend line on the 1-day time frame. In terms of the higher time frame liquidity, I talked about all of that yesterday, so I'm not going to cover it all again. If you're really interested, then go check out this video. It's called Bitcoin, It Is Finally Happening. In this video, I cover all of the time frames for the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. Now for today, I don't have any data as well for the Bitcoin ETF flow tables because of course the Bitcoin ETFs are not trading on the weekends. Therefore, the next time I can be reporting on this is on Tuesday because it takes 24 hours for this chart to actually update. Either way, this has been today's market update. Make sure to join the RT1M community on Discord. This is the most active crypto trading community in the crypto space right now. And guys, especially as we're heading into this new week of trading, make sure you are inside the Discord community just in case we have some crazy like tariff news or something coming out. If you're in the server here, you're going to be one of the first people to be aware of this. And of course, you can join the server completely for free with the link in the description of the video that you're watching right now. But regardless, if you do end up joining or not, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.